Okay, an open day is a day that we use as NUST as a way of opening ourselves to the public in general, open ourselves as well to the industry. What we're trying to do is we want to show innovation and we want to show the ideas that we have. And the hope is that with such audience, we should be able at least to have an easy transfer of our ideas and an easy transfer of our very, very good innovative ideas into industry and also probably to contribute to the general economy of the country. For this particular event, it's actually for computer science and informatics, but both programs being housed under the computer science department. Other departments also have their own, but they have their own probably differently and at different days. But this particular event is apparently for computer science only. That's an answer that we normally give of 4 years, but I'll try to give it in a very, very good summarized version. What informatics is largely about is about the study of science of data and the study of how we can actually have data-driven solutions and how we can actually use data and we have data into information, basically. For you to be eligible for the computer science program, like I said, it's apparently there are 2 programs that are in one department. So for informatics, all you need is you need maths, you need a science or a commercial subject in addition to the mathematics. But for computer science, you need science and maths. The reason why we opened it up for commercial subjects, so to speak, was because we realized that we also would need a business which knows how to come up with a data-driven solution. There are a lot of businesses out there who are collecting data from the people that come in and out of their shops, from the people that buy daily in their shops and enterprises, from the general public that they interact with. But we have, unfortunately, a short of expertise when it comes to how to then further use that data and what to use it for.
The advantages of studying computer science and informatics in Zimbabwe are that we are then able to build solutions for Zimbabwe. So we're in Zimbabwe and we know the problems that Zimbabwe is facing, and we know that tech-wise Zimbabwe is a bit behind with other first world countries or the other countries out there. So when we are then exposed to this technology, we then know how to apply the technology for Zimbabwe, or we're driven to solve problems within Zimbabwe using technology. Okay, data science is a practice whereby we take data and we turn it into actionable insights. When I'm saying actionable insights, I'm talking about maybe problem solving. So let's say we have a problem, for example, right? What we then do is, with that problem, with data in regards to that problem, and utilizing that data, we can then come up with a solution on actually how we can then solve that problem using information. I can give an example, maybe just to make things clearer, maybe in agriculture. Like we know that Zimbabwe is really dependent on agriculture, for example. So now we have data of weather patterns, soil patterns and all that, or soil compositions. And then we actually know with that data, so how can we then grow the most effective, or the most effective way to actually grow the quality maize, the most quality maize, which can then actually feed the nation. So it's basically just taking information about a certain thing and converting it into a solution that we can use within the world's problems.
In regards to, say, this event that has happened, the cyclone, right? So data is already been generated, weather forecasts and recordings have been done. So we get that data. Now we use computer science or informatics to learn and create knowledge for that, as to now prepare for something like that. You make inferences, you get the knowledge, you create the patterns from collecting data from events like that. So now, say data that has been collected for the cyclone that has happened, you can do geospatial analysis, whereby you now know, say, the movement of the cyclone or the movement of the winds from a perspective of a person who has the data, who has the knowledge about it. So as I've said, you gain the knowledge, then also you gain the capability to predict what is to come. So the next cyclone you can actually predict using the patterns that you have already collected.
Computer science or informatics can be done by any girl, because girls have to embrace this. I've done it and I'm successful, so everyone should be able to do this. Every girl should be able to do this.
Informatics and computer science can be done by any girl or lady or woman. Actually, the first programmers were women, and there is also an initiative of girls who code. So actually we can do it and we can embrace it. All we need to do is to dare it. Actually, I'm doing a program, informatics, and I'm doing data science. Manipulating data is the in thing, and data is the new oil. Whoever hears it, money.
Okay, the study of computer science or informatics can benefit the companies or Zimbabwe in general, in the sense that it can, for companies in Zimbabwe, it can improve their revenue, it can improve their profits by utilizing data science. For example, there is a data science for market basket analysis, where you can compare the goods that are in a supermarket. So you can actually utilize this for supermarket, can actually utilize that for maximizing their profits in a company. That's for companies in Zimbabwe, for them to maximize on data science and informatics and computer science.
Okay, so the youth have different things that they like, and there's a lot of things that they're involved in, especially on social media. So we're able to then know what are the youth actually like. We're able to target the youth based on the things that they do, even on social media, for example. So the youth are kind of techy, right, and tech. So they're most the people that are data scientists target the most, especially when making things that they know that they're going to have a wide base of people who are going to be actually using the app. Talk about social media. We know that the social media companies that exist right now are making most of the money from the youth who like to tweet or maybe be on Facebook or Instagram and whatnot. And the youth actually generate more information or data than anyone else, because they are one of the people who are mostly active, especially on social media platforms. So using this or channeling things for the youth, we can then actually be able to then do things that are quite suitable for the youth, or then target the youth in the things that we make or in the solutions that we provide. The other thing also is also to enrich the youth, like through education and all that. I'm sure you've heard that we're doing computer science or informatics, right? So there's an aspect of development as well, whereby things can be developed to actually enrich the lives of the youth. So things like e-learning sites can be made so that people can actually learn online, or even applications that then enable the youth maybe to be self-employed, to start businesses of their own, maybe to sell things online and do various kind of things. People can learn even how to make websites and how to use our websites or blog posts. The list is endless of what youth can actually do with this technology.
Well, in that case, I think it depends with use, what you want to use per se. Because for instance, if we're doing websites, you're using probably, you can use online platforms such as Wix, where you don't actually use your processing power, you're actually using their server processing power. Then you can actually have situations whereby you want to do probably, let's say, desktop development or other applications, mobile applications. You can venture into things such as Visual Studio or use Android Studio. Those things kind of want a lot of computational power. So in that instance, that's where you can say, okay, you need a machine that is somewhat powerful. So it depends with your use, what's your goal. Because there's so many platforms that you can use. Some of them can be online where you don't have to necessarily put any of your computational power. It's just you opening your browser. And then some of them is actually running on your system. So it depends.
Okay. I'm visualizing social media digital footprints. So what that means is simply for whatever you do online, the trail that you leave behind, I can be able to get that information and then show it to you and actually tell you about yourself based on what you do online. So in other words, I can actually tell you who you are based on what you do online. Simple as that.
Okay, so my project is on the NUST venue locator. So it's a localized map. It's for NUST, for the NUST campus. What it does is it locates best rooms on campus. So it's actually a best room locator on campus.
My project is on a property valuation model for residential markets. It's a project on evaluating or predicting the prices of the house based on certain features that are available in the house.
Alright, my project is a credit rating system. So basically what we'll be trying to do there is to determine if for a given customer in a financial institution, when they ask for a loan, we're trying to predict if they can pay back the loan in time as they agreed, or they will not pay in time.
My project is traffic flow optimization using machine learning. We're looking at a situation whereby we're trying to reduce or prevent cases of traffic congestion usually caused at traffic intersections due to the traffic lights not being able to adjust to the current or to the incoming traffic levels. Since traffic is something that is not static, it's something that is always fluctuating. So in this case, we're creating a system whereby we have cameras on an intersection. We use those cameras to detect vehicles and actually give a count. Then we use that count to determine the amount of time that is given to each green light on that traffic intersection. On that one, we actually do detection of the vehicle itself, the whole vehicle. We actually train our computers to be able to detect, to differentiate between any other object in an image or videos from what you want, which is a vehicle in this case. So when we then get that object, the vehicles, we get the count, how many are they, and then we push that to an algorithm that gives us the amount of time it would take for those vehicles to pass through the intersection, and then it keeps on adjusting and learning as the traffic flow comes in.
Okay, my project is on analysis of tomato price volatility. So I'm doing an analysis of the prices of tomato so as to help the farmers to plan when to grow and when not to grow, as well as when to maximize and when they cannot maximize. Just to do an analysis of the prices using historical data.
My project is sentiment analysis, which is in the domain of business intelligence and business analytics. So what we're doing here, we're trying to help companies to get feedback from their customers and so as to make improvements in regards to the services and products that they provide in the market. This helps the companies to make informed decisions. So sentiment analysis, the whole system is like a decision support system.
Okay, my project is on a movie recommender system, which is a My project is a movie recommender system, which is a hybrid system which comprises of content-based filtering and collaborative filtering, which can be used by companies like SK. Since in Zimbabwe we don't have official movie website, it can be used by those companies to know what the users actually like or want to watch.
Data science is already big in the Western countries, as you have asked. It's already big out there because now everyone is a computer, everyone is the internet. But then what then to do with those tools? That's where data science comes in. As you have said, that data is the new oil. Who has data, has the man. So it's now on what to do with the information that you are producing, or the information that you are getting from the market. So it's already the in thing, it's already the big thing in the countries out there. We should pick up the pace and get there.
So the issue with Zimbabwe and comparing it with the Western countries, whether we're going to be at the same level at some point, has to do with exposure as well. In Southern Africa, we find, in Zimbabwe in particular, we find that we're not very exposed to technology. Like the person-to-computer ratio in Zimbabwe is also quite low right now if we're to check. And most people are not really computer literate. Maybe they might know how to operate a computer, but they're not computer literate up to the fact that they can be able to manipulate our data with that computer or something. So the exposure is the other issue, that if we're in Zimbabwe, if we get exposure, people will then be able maybe to match levels even out there. And the other issue that's happening in Zimbabwe right now is that there's not a lot of data in Zimbabwe. Like we have data that's happening, but people are not really collecting it, especially for analyzing it, for making decisions. So you find that most companies are just making decisions, like maybe by gut or I don't know. But then the issue is with more data in Zimbabwe, people will be able then to work and make more efficient or effective solutions to problems.
So my name is Ndlovu. I am part 4 computer science. I am passionate about software engineering, software development, especially when we're looking at developing solutions for problems using artificial intelligence. I'm an enthusiast when it comes to artificial intelligence. I'm particularly interested in things to do with neural networks, things to do with the general boat of artificial intelligence. Right, so the open day basically means the computer science department of NUST says we want to showcase our part final projects to the entire world. So, well, at least to Zimbabwe insofar as we are concerned. So we come out to the National Art Gallery. We've been coming to the National Art Gallery for 2 years now, to a place that already attracts attention and attracts traffic. So we come, we set up, and we invite people. We invite captains of industry. We invite academics. We invite general users. We invite as many people as we can who are interested in information systems to come and see as the part finals showcase their project. And usually that has a powerful boost to the ones who are presenting. Gives them a lot of motivation, gives them a lot of confidence, gives them a lot of drive. If you know that somebody from a powerful tech company is going to be coming to review your projects, you would want to work hard. And also the open day has received a lot of interest from people around, because some of the things that these young ladies and these young men are developing is really groundbreaking, and the technologies that they are implementing is really amazing. Yeah? Right. So computer science is a big boat. Computer science carries with it a lot of other sub-disciplines. So in a country like Zimbabwe, where technology is coming in, the rate at which technology has been coming into Zimbabwe now is accelerating at a very impressive rate. But for a country like Zimbabwe, it's almost necessary, it's crucial, critical rather, that we are found being people that understand computer science, so that we can at least, if not develop our own systems, to at least implement them in a way that will suit the Zimbabwean economy, the Zimbabwean culture, to develop systems that will suit the Zimbabwean culture, be it education-wise, be it health-wise, be it any discipline that you can think of. We want it. It's crucial for Zimbabweans to be able to know how to develop those, to be able to know how to create networks, digital networks that can improve the livelihood. So, yeah, it's really important that we as a country that's adopting technology to be studying computer science. All right. So, I would explain it in this way. Computer science is about problem solving. Computer science is about solving problems. So, but we are saying we are solving problems that revolve, or maybe the solution rather revolves around a computer. So it could be anything. It could be a communication problem. It could be a prediction problem. It could be a medical problem. It could be anything. We are simply solving a gamut of problems, but we are using computer science. We're using computers. We're using technology. We're using the digital things that we have around us. All right. So, what we know so far is that data has been collected for a long time, and by studying patterns, by studying weather patterns, by studying even ground movements, you can be able to use your computer science to predict, number one, the specific location of a natural disaster. You can even go on to simulate the effect that it will have, and with your simulation, you can even come up with an estimation of the damage that it will produce. Right. So you can study data to predict when it will happen, how it will happen, and how much things can be affected, how many lives can be affected, how many people will be displaced. In fact, we use computer science as first response to come up with estimates as to how many people have been displaced. You hear reports coming saying an estimated 100 people have been killed. How did that number come about? We used a bit of computer science to actually simulate and see if an area this big has been affected, how many people on average might have been affected. So, as I was talking about the simulations, you can simulate to find, you can run your simulations to actually show you which places have been affected more by the disaster. So, then you can determine which places need more aid because not all places need the same aid. So there are more places that need more urgent aid. There are places which need less urgent aid, but aid nonetheless. So you can use your simulations to pinpoint places which need urgent aid. And then you can also use your computer science for pathfinding, because sometimes a disaster can strike and damage all the roads and destroy all the paths and whatnot. So you can actually use your pathfinding technologies to and apply it on a map to actually find a way that these first responders, second responders, and other helpers can actually use to come and deliver aid to the people. So computer science can be used to detect and possibly prevent sometimes, and possibly prevent. If it can predict, if it can detect, it can act as, it can provide technologies for acting as warnings, actually warning the people, telling them something like this is going to come, it's going to come probably around about this time. So mechanisms that you can use to save your lives, your properties, your livestock is this one, this one, this one, this one. It can actually be used to be of that sort.
So since NUST is such a big technological institution, I want to know how computer science can benefit the rest of Zimbabwe in terms of whether it's business, social, or economic aspects of the country as a whole.
So there's a young lady who's doing a project for predicting stock prices. So her project takes stock prices and does some fancy mathematics to it and comes out with a predicted price. Simply, what I'm saying is there are lots of applications that can be developed to aid Zimbabwe insofar as its economy is concerned. To predict, there is another young man who's doing maize crop yield prediction. So with his system, he suggests that he can predict the yield of the crop yield basing on forecasted weather patterns. So we can already know we are going to yield this much. Knowing how much we are going to yield means we can set aside budgets for doing this. We can always be forethinkers. We can predict prices. We can see the future with the technologies that NUST is providing for us. So yeah, we have tons of opportunities for improving our economy by looking into these projects. All right. So number one, the one thing that you need is passion. You need to be passionate about computer science. You need to be passionate about technology. You need to be passionate about problem solving, right? When I started doing computer science at NUST, I brought one thing, my laptop. It wasn't the top of the range laptop. I didn't need the top of the range laptop. I just needed something that would run my development environments, which don't really need much advanced computing powers, unless if they are really specific problems, specific computers. But for someone who's wanting to start, you just need your basic laptop. Just need something that you can carry around and open anyway, because as I said, you have to be passionate. So there are going to be times where you will just have to be in the taxi, for example, and that bright idea hits you. You need something that you can just take out and start writing your ideas and bringing them to life. So you don't need much, just need your laptop and your passion. I believe that the talent that we have in Zimbabwe is world class. The determination, the talent, the determination, the mental brilliance that these young people have is way beyond par. But one major challenge that we have is scarcity of computing resources. For example, there's a course that I'm doing now for my part final year. It has to do with distributed computing, and it would need a very high performing computer. And in Zimbabwe, those ones are very rare to find. And those that are available come at a hefty price. So yes, we have the talent, yes, we have the power, we have the drive, we have the passion, but we lack the computational resources, which is something that is not difficult to find if we really focused our energies on putting Zimbabwe computer science on the map. It really wouldn't be something of a challenge. All right, so my project, simply put, I'm predicting soccer results using artificial intelligence. So I implemented an algorithm that learns previous performances and how teams have been performing previously, and after learning that, it then generalizes into current performance, so that if you choose team A and you put it against team B and you give the different statistics and different data points, it will give you output for the match. If you choose team A versus team B, it will tell you this one is more likely to score 3 goals, this one is more likely to score 1 goal. The major drive behind that being football is $1 billion industry, multi-billion-dollar industry. Just last year, we had our FIFA World Cup, which was breaking records in terms of viewership, which was breaking records in terms of sponsorship. So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I believe if Zimbabwe had solutions that would help it compete in this multi-billion-dollar industry, we might actually start making a bit of revenue out of it. Well, the desired output would have it being able to predict to that sort of an accuracy, but there are lots of constraints to my project. For example, the data that I'm analyzing and the data that I'm using to actually come about with this prediction has a lot of deficiencies. Do I call them deficiencies or limitations? I am not considering, for example, player performance. So, for example, if one key player for this team is available in one game and is scoring a lot of goals, and in the next game he gets an injury and he's not available, or maybe in the first 20 minutes of that game he gets an injury, my artificial intelligence model would still consider that game as a game that is likely to score more goals, but the key player is no longer there, the key player has been injured. So there are a lot of limitations, but I think with the amount of work that me and my supervisor have done, we are able to predict with a fair, respectable amount of accuracy. All right, what I can say to them is, we need technology. We need to be advancing in technology. We need as much African solutions. Well, at least in Zimbabwe, we need as much African solutions, as much African minds thinking about problem solving. We cannot always be looking at American systems for communication, for social communication. We cannot not always be looking at American systems for our medical systems. We need as much hands on deck as possible. So this one would be not an encouragement, but rather an appeal. This would be an appeal to them to say, you know what, consider joining the ranks of computer science, because we need your hands on deck. We need your brains to be giving us all that you can.